Why, hello out there, and welcome to Small Beards and Big Opinions.
Where the world is crazy, but luckily, so are we.
My name is your co-host. Wait, no, that's not my name. My name
Well,
is
good to
Eddie
meet you.
Boyce.
Good to meet you, my co-host. And I'm Shaner. Oh wait, sorry, my name is the host.
No,
Did I
you're
do that
also
right?
co-host. You're also co-host.
I thought you were my co-host.
No,
That's why my name appears first in the title.
it does.
No.
I'm so confused. All right, whatever.
It was a joke. Forget it.
We're too far into this. We can't
We
restore it.
botched that bit for the first time in forever. This feels like classic two dudes on the radio now.
Ah. Anyways, everyone, welcome to Bops and B-movies, the show where we share what music we've been listening to, and of course, they're called B-movies for a reason.
They are
Oh boy,
indeed.
I am very excited for this episode, Shane.
Oh, it's great.
We got some good stuff this week. I'm so excited. No, it's not a
I'm
bad B
pumped.
movie. Spoiler, it's a great B movie. So
Oh
listen,
yeah.
wait to that. But for now, we're gonna do our bops. Before we jump in, Shaner, do you need to say anything?
Like just anything?
Well, I mean, do you need to say anything? I don't know.
Um, I don't know. Pickles.
Pickles? Fair enough.
Yep.
Pickles. Onward. Do you want to go first, Shaner, for bops, or would you like me to go first with
Oh,
bops?
you take that spot.
Yeah. All right, I will go first. Yeah, mine's a bit lengthy, so we might want to get
Hit
this one out of the way.
me.
So
You got it.
we haven't had this episode in a while, and so like I was gearing up for like October albums, but then like October came and went, and we didn't do a B movie or a Bops and B movie. So
Yeah, our schedule got kind of screwed up there for a minute.
yeah, with the interview. Which, by the way, if you want like our most, what would you even call it? Not divisive, just
Off the
weird.
walls bonkers.
Sure, yeah, weird content. We did an episode on cannibalism. You should go check that out.
Yeah, we did it.
It
We had the
deserves more
thoughts
views.
and we put it on the air and seems like nobody liked it.
I don't say that. It's our second least viewed episode, so they
Yeah,
liked it more
somehow.
than our least.
They liked it. They liked it more than the Empire Strikes Back review. So
That's fair.
somehow, but go check it out. Go learn about our thoughts on cannibalism, not about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Not about Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, we get that right out of the way.
Anyways, so my album, there was a lot of music in October that really disappointed me. Like there was a lot of albums I was looking forward to, and they all just kind of so that made
What a
me sad.
shame.
But there's one that came out that I was really happy with. And so it has a story behind it. So there's a story
Oh,
behind it. I'm
story.
going to entertain you. So the album, which I'm going to share with y'all, is Dark Bloom by We Came as Romans. All right.
Wow.
Yes. We Came as Romans is the artist title, and Dark Bloom is the album title. Now, We Came as Romans is a metalcore band. Okay. So like they're like the emo side of metal, essentially. Man, We Came as Romans. Man, I've been listening to this band since like 2013. They were my first introduction to metalcore, just the earliest stuff. I can't remember their best albums off the top of my head. Just love their stuff. However, this recent album was a bit of a turning point for this band. So about 5 years ago, the band's lead singer, Kyle Pavone, I really should have looked up how to say that.
I believe you. I
Thank
believe it's
you.
pronounced that way.
Kyle Pavone, he died of an overdose 5 years ago, their lead singer, which kind of came out of nowhere. No one saw that coming. Not even like, I don't think even the band like knew he was on drugs at the time. Or like maybe they thought it wasn't that bad. I don't know. But yeah, so he overdosed. It was sad. So this is their first album since their loss of their lead singer. Now they do have another singer, David Stevens, who he sung sometimes, but he was mostly their oh crap, what's the term? I should have looked it up. He was their for lack of a better term, screamer. Like he did the growl vocals. He was the
He just sat there screaming.
I mean, not the entire time, but that was his thing. Like that was his thing. Kyle did like
Professional screaming.
yeah, sure. That there's a better term from that. I feel really bad for not.
I like
I'm
professional
blinking.
screamer.
You like professional screamer?
Yeah, it sounds like I believe it. Yeah,
Okay,
professional
that's fine.
screamer. I want
Well,
that job.
so they still have David Stevens, and David Stevens has kind of taken up the role as the band's lead singer, while also doing what he's done in the past as being professional screamer. So this album, first of all, they could have just like ended as a band because they've been around for like over a decade. They've released great albums. They could have just ended. It would have been sad, but understandable. But no, they're going to keep going. They got a new member to, I don't know what he does. Shows how much of a fan I am. But they got picked up someone else that he plays an instrument. So David is leading the vocal. So it's interesting to see what was going to happen. See how they would adapt, especially since Kyle's voice and tone is like he has a higher tone and softer tone, while David's is more, I don't say run of the mill for a metal singer, but like lower, more a bit rougher. Okay,
Right.
deeper than Kyle. So and together they were great. Like it was a great contrast. But now it's just Kyle, or not Kyle. Sorry, David. So it was interesting to see what was going to happen. So Dark Womb, I'm happy to say, I think it's a good album. Well, nothing anything revolutionary, but it really puts the stamp as to where the band's at, where they're at currently, and kind of, I don't want to say a roadmap for where they're going, but puts hope for their future. So this is a 10-track album. Pretty fast to go through, not too long to go through. The whole focus of the album, as you would think, is focused around withstanding the pain and heartache and depression by losing someone close to you.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, right. And then to keep pushing to the next day through the pain. So that's kind of the whole idea. So the starting track, Dark Bloom, it's kind of like the roadmap and overall kind of gives you this overall theme right off the bat. So gives you that. And then the next two songs, Plague and Dark Hole, they're more your like more typical metalcore songs thematically. They focus on the pain, basically, the pain of losing someone close to you. The next song, Daggers. I should say Black Hole featured Caleb Shomo he's the lead singer for Beartooth, if you know who that is. So anyways, Daggers, the next song featuring 936. He's a rapper, which by the way, so this song is the only explicit song in the entire record. So I know it like says explicit on the album cover. Daggers is the only one. So if you want to skip that one because you don't like explicit language, that's totally fine. And to be honest, this song really stands out because it's about basically the anger and lashing out at someone for basically saying mean things to you. I mean, that's really simplifying it, but that's pretty much it, which kind of stands out because that's not really like in line with the theme of the album, but maybe
stands out good or bad.
Well, as stands out, it's a good song, I think, if you can get past the heavy swearing. But it doesn't make sense.
Would you say it kind of feels like the album we talked about, the Will Wood album from last week, where it's like Memento Mori doesn't quite fit in with everything, but it's there and it's good?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. It doesn't seem to fit in with like the pain of losing someone. Now, with that being said, it could be referring to like, because I know some bands have experienced this where like they'll announce like a band member died of or has a drug addiction or something like that, and then you'll get internet comments that are like basically saying, "Oh, well, they deserved it," sort of.
Yeah,
thing.
kind of.
It's like hate speech like that. So it might be referring to that, but I don't know personally because the song doesn't explicitly give a reason as to why they're doing what the person said to them. So it's a good song regardless. So anyway, so the next song, Double Speak, is also kind of this way, just kind of angry in an emotional outburst. Oh wait, no, I am terribly sorry. I mixed up the songs. Double Speak is the one that stands on the other. Daggers, I wrote my notes wrong. Daggers is basically, it describes basically cutting something out in your life that's causing you pain.
If that makes sense. That's kind of where the daggers.
Yeah, that's where the daggers. Yeah, you're like you'll cut out the pain, throw it away. That's the theme of Daggers, and that one makes sense. Like just something that hurts in your life, emotional. Right. Like you gotta cut it out of here. Double Speak is the one that's like the emotional outburst and being angry at someone that's been speaking very hatefully towards you. That's the one. Sorry.
Gotcha. Now I got it.
Anyways, the next song. Now the rest of this album, I think, is where this album really shines because this is when it gets really personable. So Golden and One More, I think they're back to back. They might be broken up by Double Speak, I forget. But Golden and One More really get into their personal experience in losing someone. So losing Pavone. They don't say him inwardly, but they say him and they like speak him. Or not speak him. They don't specifically reference him, but it's obvious they're talking about him, if that makes sense. And
Right.
they're like probably two of the best songs on this album. Amazing. Just it really got through the message. And I mean, not that I like held this band up in high regards, but it's different since I've known this guy for like
Right. Yeah.
Sorry, known as in like I've listened to this guy over a decade. It's just like darn, he's gone.
I got what you're saying.
Yeah. So, anyways, great. Those are probably the best songs. Oh yeah. So the heartbreak of losing someone, and then what could have been done differently to prevent that outcome. Because of course, like I don't know how they knew about his drug, if they knew about his drug issue, but like it's like, oh, I saw him that night, and then I didn't even say goodbye because he kind of just left, and then I didn't see him, and he said he was okay, and it's like, oh, what if I said ask something? So just kind of dealing with that. The next song, Anchor, kind of returns to the theme of the pain of heartbreak, but it focuses more on the fact that you just don't have the answers for why someone died when they did. And then the next track, Holding Embers, is sort of a resolution for the band, as in they like this pain's happening, but life just kind of keeps on going. Like each day keeps happening, and all you can kind of do is remember the person and kind of have hope moving forward. And then with the last track, Promise You, which is a great double entendre. This is a tricky song. This is probably the deepest, like, emotionally song, because it talks about how Pavone, Kyle, shared with them like his problems before in the past. So this has been an issue before. Either it doesn't specifically say, it just says like fears, I think is how they worded it in the song. And so that might be attached to drugs, it may not be, I don't know. But he opened himself up before the past, this emotional, and this happened before. And the song, the first part of the song is Promise You. So like Kyle promised them, and they don't explicitly say this in the song, but I think that like they kind of finish the chorus, which is like the day you promised me. It doesn't kind of finish what he promised. I think you're kind of supposed to assume that he promised that he'd always be open about his problems, and of course that didn't happen. And so then the last part of the song with the double entendre, you know what a double entendre is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Hey, you're cultured. There you go. Yay.
Thinking, anyway. I got the brain power over here.
The last part of the song is how they are promising Kyle that they will always remember him and say his name. So those are the kind of the two halves of the song right there. And that's pretty much the whole album in a nutshell. Just really good album thematically wise, not really breaking anything. Oh, and to kind of show the theme why they named this Dark Bloom. So if you look at the album cover, which you can look by, I'll put the links below, again, all the music below in the description. The album cover is basically this flower, this darky silvery flower.
I looked it up.
Oh, you did look it up. Yeah, it's blooming the band's logo. But there's two things you need to notice. So first of all, it's the back atmosphere all around. And then the second is the band's logo itself, which it's the same logo that they've had in the past, but it's altered. It's more pointed. So usually it's like a line with a circle with a line through it. Now it's a square with a line through it.
Oh.
So there's obviously changes to this band. So now We Came as Romans has basically it's bloomed into a new creation amidst all this pain that they've gone through. So that's the theme. That's the album. And again, it's a very thematic album, and I really appreciated it. It hit my heartstrings a little bit, So I won't get into the rest. I'll just lightly touch on the fact that the band, because they had to change the sound a bit to fit Stevens, and I don't think they changed it dramatically. They couldn't do as much of like the drastic sound changes like they've done in the past with Kyle and Stevens, but Stevens really strengthened his softer tones for this album a lot. Like you can kind of hear it compared to his past music, and so you can really hear it on Plague, One More Day, and The Anchor. So he's not as smooth as Kyle, but he gets there. He does it in his own right. So I'm excited to see where this band goes in the future, and I know y'all probably don't listen to metalcore. I can't help you there. Yeah, no, that's fair. I understand. But if you do, definitely check this album out. Like I said, nothing groundbreaking, but it's just a very good album thematically. And you can tell there's a lot of emotion put into this. So that's my album, Dark Bloom by We Came as Romans.
Okay, so when you first said that, I thought you said We Came as Romance, and I was really confused. I think I
Oh,
have heard. I
sorry,
know I've
no.
heard that name before. Now that I realize what you were saying,
Yeah,
and I heard it
Romans as in
right.
the Italian centurions, great empire, that
Yeah,
kind of
now I
Romans.
got it.
Yeah. Yeah, they're a great band. I gotta get a t-shirt of theirs. I don't own any merch. Anyway, so that's my music. Chandler, what have you been listening to for the past 4 weeks?
So for once, I actually have some albums
Wow.
based on a specific band, but the band I'm talking about today is the Mountain Goats, which
Oh,
sounds like it should. No, it sounds like it's going to be like I had a guy I mentioned to at work, and he goes, "Is it a bluegrass band?" I'm like, "It is not a bluegrass band." I tried to look up their genre, and it gave me 9 different answers. The best I will give is I think technically they are indie rock
oh,
or like alternative. And
sure.
some of their more recent albums, The Sunset Tree is really good. There's a couple of good songs on that. I don't know. The best way I can think to describe this band's music is like a lot of them feel almost like anthems. Like you listen to them, you want to, fist in the air. You want to like, you want to scream, not scream them. I'm gonna go into a rant
Shout
like
them.
last week.
Shout
Shout
them.
them. Yeah, you feel like you want to be at this. These songs make you wish you were listening to them live at a concert with like a
Mm,
bunch of other people listening to them with you. But the Sunset Tree was a really good album. I don't like all the songs on there. I tried them, but like this year, Up the Wolves, Love, 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 all really good songs on there. I've listened to those a lot.
okay.
Their newest album just came out in August of this year, actually, which I was a bit behind. I didn't realize it came out this year until I suddenly went, "Oh, they have new songs I haven't listened to yet." And their new album was called "Bleed Out,"
Oh,
and the cover, I want to say, it looks like a scene from like an '80s action movie. I'll put that in the what do you call that?
description.
No, the thumbnail. We'll have
Oh,
these in the
yeah.
thumbnail.
Yeah.
But it had a lot more songs on it I liked. So that one I definitely recommend listening to all of it. They're, like I said, they're mostly indie rock, but some of them are a little weirder, like the ones I brought up last week. But they're all really fun songs. And if you like the messages in them, they're fun to listen to the message. And if you don't care about what music's trying to say and you just like the noise, they're fun to throw on. And kind of like last week, you put them on and you can't help but like move around and you're,
Sure.
dancing around and flailing.
Is that what you do in
I'm
your
good.
basement, Chandler? You just throw on the mountain goats and start running around and
Yeah,
flailing your arms.
yeah, I do. Maybe you can't prove it. I'm closing this so you can't see what I do after I close this. But yeah, the songs on that new one I recommend: Training Montage, Mark on You, First Blood, Make You Suffer. These sound like terrible titles. They're good songs.
I think they're
And
interesting titles.
the name of like the namesake of the album Bleed Out is, I don't think it's the main track for this album.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's Training Montage is the one they released it as a single before like precede this album.
Okay.
But yeah, they're indie rock slash alternative, but each song sounds completely different.
Okay.
So they're really good. There's some themes to the albums. Like I think Sunset Tree deals a lot with like his history of domestic abuse from like his stepfather. And you
Oh,
definitely see that come out in the songs. But again, just like last week, you can tell with something like that, he puts a lot of emotion into it.
sure.
And you feel that in his music. The new one is harder to determine what the theme is. It's not the same where it doesn't deal with like anything I think he's ever dealt with, but it's more like themes. I think it's dealing with like themes of how culture is getting,
Sure.
but it doesn't feel like it's shoving messages down your throat to get a point across.
That's good. I like songs that
Um,
do that.
yeah. But the other thing is neither album sounds like the other.
Hmm.
So you can tell the voices are the same, but the music style is completely different. I love both of them. I highly recommend listening to Bleed Out first if you're gonna start listening to them because it has got a lot more on it I really like.
Okay.
And it's another fun one to listen through on. And as an add-on, I'll throw on the other guy I've been listening to recently because there wasn't enough of this one to talk about. Like I don't have,
Sure.
talk through an album like you're so good at doing. It's a weirder one, but the guy's name is Bug Hunter, B-U-G Hunter.
Hmm.
And again, the same thing where I looked up what his genre was and it gave me 9 different answers. But in the same way I found out what this one is by zeroing in, I think it's indie pop.
Okay.
And he's like, it's one guy singing. It's not necessarily a full band, I don't think, but it's like one guy singing and he makes just a lot of fun songs. They're just, a lot of them are just him playing his guitar. But his, I think, most popular one, Dear McCracken, is about like a true story that happened to him on a plane where he was sitting next to someone who was writing an email before they took off. And it was like trying to reconcile with somebody they'd known in their past. And he kind of watched them write this email, but they kept changing it. And so kind of he's trying to figure out what that story is. Really good. Dear McCracken, really good song. And some of them aren't true stories, like Two Bed, Two Bath and a Ghost is his newest one. I think it's his new single. It's really good. And it deals with a guy being haunted by his dead wife. Really good. It's a really sweet, it starts really weird, but gets really sweet by the end of it. Waving Goodbye is another good one by him. That's a slower, more emotional one that's fantastic. I highly recommend those 3, if not the rest of his music. Yeah, Bug Hunter. They're both ones I would love to see in concert someday. Because especially the Mountain Goats, I've watched videos of their concerts and you can tell they're having the time of their life up on the stage. And it translates down into the people watching it. And their music is the kind of music you want to hear with a dozen other people, 100 other people all singing it with them, shouting it, jumping around, fists in the air. If you listen to it, you'll know what I mean.
Yeah. No, I know.
So I highly recommend.
They got that energy.
Yeah, they have the energy,
yeah.
But it's not like EDM dance music. It's like powerful, emotional anthems. I'm going to call them anthems because that's what they remind me of, most of them. So yeah, I highly recommend the Mountain Goats. Bleed Out and Sunset Tree are 2 good ones. They also have a song from their one album, Tallahassee, called No Children. It's about a guy who, I'm trying to think of how to describe that one. It's like a guy who is writing to his ex and there's still a lot of like pain there. And it's one, I think their most emotional song, where it feels like he wrote it based on a true story because it is a powerful, like I don't want to call it an FU of a song, but he's like, hey, you really screwed me up. And I kind of hope that you're not doing fine or something like that. I'm probably doing a bad job of describing it. It's worth listening to just to hear the emotion he packs into it.
Okay.
No Children from their album Tallahassee. I didn't like the rest of that album, but that one was my first experience with them. And the rest of the songs sound nothing like it, and it's really weird, but I love all of them. And
Your
then
fans are very. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, and that's it. And then just Bug Hunter, Dear McCracken, Waving Goodbye, and Two Bed, Two Bath and a Ghost. Those are what I recommend.
Your bands are very nature-y themed today.
Yeah, you gotta have nature. I don't know why they call themselves the Mountain Goats. Beats me. I could probably look it up, but I didn't.
I don't know. Our generation's like more nature-y theme, or not for nature-y focused. Like they like nature more, so that's probably why.
I don't know.
Sure. So I want to touch on lightly before we move on the music that we shared last week because we listened to it, each other's.
Yeah, we did.
And I must say, Will Wood's Normally album, oh my gosh. I'm going to go on a limb here. I think it's the best album I've listened to all year.
Wow.
It's so good. Oh my gosh, it's so good. I don't even like showtimey, like musical, like type music. I don't like that sort of thing. But just that with the combination of like the I don't want to say emo lyrics, but they're very culture critique. It's very culture critique. And just how they thematically go with the music is like, culture here in America, the American dream. It's like, happy veneer on the outside, but they'll underneath there's like a lot of problems. And so I like how he structures everything.
Yeah.
Every song's like non-skippable. It's awesome. I love it.
I'm happy that you loved it. On the other side of things, I did go back and try to listen to because I was a week behind. I remember the guy's name, but not the band, not the album.
Okay, his name's Kenny Beats.
No, I'm talking about before that.
You mean
yeah, because I remember the last episode we did of this. You were like, "Did you listen to this album by Black Midi?" And I was like,
yeah. Hellfire by Black Midi.
Yeah, so I tried that. I will give them this. It is a very unique album. I have never heard anything like it.
Yeah.
Not my thing.
I don't blame you. Like, I don't really listen to them like anymore.
It was interesting. It wasn't, I didn't feel like, oh yeah, there's 100 other songs like this. Like when I listen to country music when it comes on, like, yeah, every song kind of feels like this now. I have never heard anything else like that in my entire life. And it made it interesting. Yeah. It wasn't my thing.
That's fair. I don't blame you. You don't listen to it because like it's like, oh yeah, I love this sort of music. You listen to it because it's intriguing and it's thought provoking. That's why you listen.
It is intriguing. I will give it that.
Right. Well, did you listen to Kenny Beats or did you?
No.
Rude. You probably won't like it anyway.
I'm gonna be a week behind. I will listen to that in substitute of this new one.
Oh yeah, you're definitely not gonna like this one
because I don't think I would like metalcore. So I will listen to Kenny Beats in substitute of Dark Blue.
Yeah. Did you listen to Panic at the Disco?
Yeah.
Okay, I shouldn't say them. They're not anything like that. I should say that.
I don't think Panic at the Disco is metalcore.
No, they're not. I was thinking of something that I could like compare to that you might like, but like.
Panic, and you jumped to Panic at the Disco?
Yeah, I was thinking like that's like they were coming up around the same time, and they're more.
Yeah, but not at all the same.
No, it's not the same. That was a really bad comparison.
It's like, do you love rock and roll? Like new, like, do you like heavy metal? You ever heard of Kenny Rogers? Oh. I'm trying to think, what even would Panic at the Disco? They're pop.
Well, they're pop now. They didn't used to be back in the day. They were like emo back then. Anyways.
Yeah, but even then, okay, yeah, let's leave it at that.
All right, on to our next segment. They're called B-movies for a reason, but this one, yes, it's a B-movie, but it's a great B-movie, right?
It was fantastic. It was a return to form. We've had some pretty sucky ones.
Yeah.
Sucky in a bad way. Like, not even like this is so bad it's good. The last few have been, these are just terrible.
Yeah. But we returned. It's movies like this, like that make me happy. We watch B-movies. So Shaner, do you want to like kind of give them a short intro to this movie?
Yes. So I discovered this movie. I discovered it a while back, but I hadn't really decided to watch it. But it's called Bigfoot the Movie.
Which sounds really bad, but hear us out.
It was shot on location and set in Elwood City, PA, which is around Pittsburgh. Apparently it's like a 30-minute drive from my house, which is really cool. And it's not just filmed there. Like I said, it's set there. The movie takes place in the movie in Elwood City. I'm trying to make that make sense. Like, yeah,
it was shot and they made it canonical that it was set in Elwood City.
Yeah. So it's about I don't want to give away too many plot details here. There's a Bigfoot that escapes from containment. Won't tell you where he's being contained. And it kills a redneck. That's not a spoiler. And the rest of these rednecks try to hunt it down and kill it to take revenge on it.
You can share a little bit more detail. So basically, there's three rednecks, Chuck, Daryl, and Dale, and they're out one night. Bigfoot comes and slaughters Daryl, and the rest of the movie is Chuck and Dale getting revenge on their friend and killing Bigfoot. That's the movie.
It's fantastic, and I will say it helps if you have at some point in your life lived in Western PA.
Oh yeah, there's a ton of references to Western PA, Pittsburgh, and even like Pennsylvania in general. There's a lot of like small things.
Yeah, even like if you've lived at any point in your life, even for a short amount of time in like I would say specifically around Elwood City, Western PA area, you'll recognize like, yep, this film was definitely supposed to be set in PA.
Oh yeah,
the way the characters talk, the way they dress, the way they act. It is a Western PA/PA film, and I love it.
And to put like a cherry on top, so the main actor, Chuck, is played by Kurt Wooten, which, if you don't know, is the person running the channel Pittsburgh Dad.
He is hilarious in his videos, and it comes out in this movie.
Yeah, I'm surprised it got well. Maybe I shouldn't be surprised. I read up on a little. Apparently, like he was an actor and like he couldn't make it in California, and so like he somehow ended up back here and started the channel off a whim, and it blew up.
Yeah,
because he can do a really good impersonation of blue collar Pittsburgh dad. So
yeah. Have you ever heard him talk like not doing his Pittsburgh Dad bit? I
no.
didn't know that was. I didn't know that was a bit until.
Did you not know that was a bit? Of course it is.
I don't know. I thought it was just a guy from Pittsburgh. He sells it so well, and I had no reason to believe he wasn't until I like. I think when he was coming to the Pittsburgh Steel City Comic Con a while back, people were commenting because there was like a Facebook page about it, and everyone was trying to figure out if he was like that in real life. And people were saying no, he's like perfectly normal in real life. You almost wouldn't recognize him, which is hilarious to me.
But anyways, like this movie was released in 2015. So this was like during, I don't know where he was in 2015, but he had some views. Like he had notoriety at this point. So they got him for this film, which I guess he's an actor and he thought this was a cool idea. So cool. By the way, hey, Pittsburgh Dad, if you want to come on and talk to us with us about this movie, we'll like ask you questions and stuff. And
we
like,
would love to talk to you about.
Shader is from the Waynesburg area, right? Waynesburg area.
Yep.
Which is like, you know, like Greene County, Southwest PA. I'm actually from the east of the state, but I lived in Waynesburg for a little bit for college, so I get the experience.
Yeah. Why are you talking about Waynesburg? That's like an hour and a half away from this. You know, I live really close now.
Oh, sorry. Okay, fine. You live close to Elwood. I'm saying like you're from Waynesburg, like you're from the area. Was my point.
Oh yeah, no, I was born here.
Yeah, you're like born and raised there. I'm from the eastern side of the state, but I lived in the west too. So
yeah, so if you know Pittsburgh Dad, if you want to come on here, Kurt, I'm gonna address you by your legal name. You got some sway, hopefully. Mr. Kurt Wooten. If you want to be on our show, hit us up. We would love to have you.
It'd be great.
Yeah.
But anyways, fantastic. Chuck and Daryl, man, just so many references. Like they say Jagoff, they say a bunch of like Pittsburgh references.
Yeah.
Even the clothing. Like the clothing looks just Pittsburgh authentic. There's a sweater. So there's a mayor of Elwood. So not the mayor. I don't think it's the mayor, but there's a mayor of Elwood in the movie. And the yellow sweater that he wears at the end of the show, one of my relatives has a brown version of that sweater.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It blew me out of the water. I was like, wow, I've not seen that sweater in years because I haven't seen this person wear this in years. It blew my mind.
Okay.
Just the little things all throughout the film scream Pennsylvania. It's great.
Yeah. And like I said, it really helps if you know what they're talking about because it really just enhances. I don't know what it is about it.
Yeah.
But something, if this film had been set anywhere else, or if I wasn't from Pennsylvania, I'd never lived here, I would not have loved it as much, I don't think.
Yeah. It definitely, like, we definitely enjoy it more because it's so close to home. So that's why we like definitely get it more. What was I going to say next to it? But yeah. This movie doesn't take itself too seriously. I mean, definitely it sticks to a plot, you know, and it goes through that plot. It's not like crazy cartoon logic, but you know, they have some fun with it. And the characters are very stereotypical hicks.
Yep.
Which makes it funny.
It does. And the comedy in this movie, I would say most of the time, on point.
I would say so. Yeah. And I'll get into one of the negatives of the movie. There's a lot of disrespect toward women and hating your wife. It's like, it really didn't need to be in there, but I guess that maybe that's a Pittsburgh thing. I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, there was a lot of unnecessary plot lines with that, where there's like one of the characters, I won't tell you who, you can watch the movie and find out, just has like, he's constantly fighting with his wife, and there was no reason for it to be in the movie. She didn't even need to be in the movie at all, and it would have still been the same film.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
But the humor in this can sometimes get a little raunchy, but that's not where it gets funny. It gets funny when they let these characters improvise, where it feels like real people talking.
Yeah.
And where they do these little improv bits that come out of nowhere. But the delivery is just so funny because they got people who know how to be funny, I think.
I didn't even think it was that improvised. I thought the lines were nice, and I mean, it's a B movie. Like, some of the actors that
Yeah.
come in are like the best at acting, but like I thought it was like good acting all around. I didn't feel like
Oh yeah.
anything was improvised. I didn't know until you told me
Yeah, some
about
of
the
the lines,
improvisation.
like there was one scene I knew for sure that it wasn't in the original script, and that's where they are the three of them. So we didn't mention there's a third redneck that joins them
Yes,
named
after Daryl,
what's his, I can't remember his name.
Burl.
Burl, and he's like this big guy with a big bushy beard.
Yeah,
He looks like a mechanic is the best way. If you know
yeah,
anyone in PA who works at a coal mine or
yep,
is a mechanic, this guy would look like him. I can
yeah.
guarantee it.
Oh
But
my
at
gosh.
one point,
Sorry, I'll let you finish
that's
my
fine.
comment on Burl.
At the one point, they like go to swing their hands back in a dramatic motion, and I think they hit him on the stomach, and they start making jokes about how his stomach ripples. That I'm 90% positive was not in the script. It looks like they accidentally did that and then ran with the bit for 2 minutes. And it was funny, but I'm
Oh.
pretty sure that was not in the script at all. It felt
Hmm.
completely out of the blue, but you can tell it was done because they suddenly found a funny bit.
I had no idea. I thought it was natural. I thought it was an odd bit to throw in, but I thought it was
Yeah,
funny.
I'm 90% sure that was improvised. Like just because
Hmm.
it happened all of a sudden, they said, "Yep, that was funny. Run with it."
Yeah. All right, fine. Anyways, my comment about Burl. So again, back to like we were saying about like details and stuff. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
scene where Daryl is wearing this well, first of all, it's like a Manny's brother t-shirt.
Yeah.
He's wearing that. But he's got dirt lines on his shirt that are very accurate of like dirt lines. It's not just like, oh yeah, we're gonna like throw some dirt on you and call it a day.
Mm-hmm.
No, they actually like have accurate dirt line. If you've seen farmers and you've seen the dirt lines, you know what I mean. It's
Yeah.
like lines, not just like a smudge. I mean, there's smudges too, but they got like
Right.
lines. So
They
like just
got the
the
lines.
details. It was so good.
That's what makes us feel like such a realistic film
Yeah.
because all the actors aren't necessarily, and I think that sometimes helps them where they don't feel like actors. These feel like people they were like, hey, you live in Elwood City, right? You want to be like the old man who tries to hunt Bigfoot into his barn with a
Oh,
shotgun,
Burl's father. Yeah.
or his uncle.
Oh, uncle. Sorry, uncle.
He was probably not an actor, but I felt like that was a real cat. Like that could be a real
Yeah.
guy I know.
I mean, the Chuck and Daryl were like not Daryl. Well, Daryl too, but Chuck and Dale were like obviously like high
They were over the top,
stereotypical,
yeah. But
but that was for
most
the
that's what I'm
comedy.
saying. Like the side characters,
Uh-huh.
they all felt like real people. Like none
Oh
of the
yeah.
bar or anything like that, but all the ones that got little 10-second scenes, like there are Burl's uncle and trying to think of the other one that was in there. They all just felt like, hey, these are real people. Like I'm pretty sure you just walked into this guy's house and filmed him yelling at his wife in that scene, which was actually, I believe, that's exactly
Mm-hmm.
what an old guy acts like,
Sure.
where he's mumbling to himself and then he yells. It all felt very realistic, and it was funny too. That was the other thing. It wasn't just like watching a period piece. It was all really funny.
Mm-hmm.
The
So
Bigfoot costume. You want to talk about that?
oh yeah, yeah, sure. I do want to mention real quick that we're not mentioning any spoilers because we want you to go see this film.
Yeah,
Like, go
we
see this.
recommend this film.
It is on Amazon Prime. You can watch it for free if you watch
Mm-hmm.
ads, but you can buy it like the cheap for like $4. It's totally worth the money. Go watch it.
It's
100%.
so good, especially like I said, especially if you're from Western PA around
Yes.
this area. Definitely, you will find it hilarious.
Yes. So anyway, sorry. Bigfoot. Yes.
Yeah, Bigfoot. They have a suit for it. It's not. There's no CGI effects, which these films tend to fall victim to, trying to be like, hey, let's put CGI in this, even though we've got $4 to make it. As was the case with Black Ops versus Zombies. Check
Mm-hmm.
out last week's episode. Um, but this one was like the Bigfoot suit looked great, and they used shadows to their advantage to make sure you couldn't see anything wrong with it. It wasn't perfect. This isn't a Hollywood production,
Mm-hmm.
but for being a B movie, shot on someone's iPhone, probably, it looked really good.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell that like he had like a fursuit on and
Yeah.
like a hat on top, but the fur looked decently realistic, and the
Mm-hmm.
face was really well. Like it moved really well. It almost seemed realistic.
Yeah.
Honestly, the face was amazing for what this movie is.
You
Oh,
want to talk about some negatives?
Well, I want to get into like the quality. So like this film looks like it
Yeah.
was shot with like a 90s style camera. I don't know if that was
Hmm.
purposeful or not, probably budget decision, but it looks like it was shot in the 90s, which pretty much what the Pittsburgh area looks like typically, so it fit.
Yeah, it felt very appropriate for filming a Pittsburgh area
Yeah.
film.
And
Um,
you had made a comment to me about how it's shot like two different ways.
yeah, so sometimes it looks like they got really creative with how they framed things. And even I feel like the camera work, I don't know why, but I feel like the camera work is completely different in different scenes. Sometimes I felt like I was watching one of the terrible B movies we love to watch. And sometimes I felt like, huh, they stepped up the quality for this one shot. Because also sometimes they did filming techniques that were really unique. There was one, I'm trying to remember what the one shot was. It felt like something out of, and I want to get this right, an Edgar Wright film, like what were the
No
four
idea.
movies? You've seen these movies because I remember you telling me about them. With Simon Pegg,
Nope.
Hot Fuzz.
Nope.
Yes, you've seen that movie. I remember you guys watched it and you told me about it. It's the movie where he plays a policeman out in the middle of London. Shaun of the Dead, any of those movies?
I'm not a
Never.
movie person.
Never mind, forget it.
You must be thinking of someone else. I don't think that
I
was me.
must be. That's weird. I feel like maybe I'm thinking of Damien.
Maybe.
Anyways, so there's some shots that are reminiscent of he's got this weird like quick cut way. So the shots of them getting their weapons ready to go hunt Bigfoot
Hmm.
and what was the other shot? It was set in a bar, one of the bar scenes, I think, or something, where there are little 1 second cuts of them doing something like pouring drinks,
Hmm.
stuff like that. Yeah, so they had some weird, cool visual things they did with it where I was like, okay, you're disguising the fact that you don't own $1 million camera. Like they opened the film with the mayor getting a phone call about not opening the film, but after the cold open of the rednecks getting attacked, it has a shot with the mayor answering his phone and finding out that somebody's been killed by something. They don't tell you what at that point.
Hmm.
And it's shot, they just shoot the phone and his hand reaching down to grab it, and they never pan away from that. Whereas in a typical B movie we've watched, that scene would be him laying in bed, picking up the phone, all done from one angle, and it
Yeah.
would look really bad. This, I felt like they tried to make it look good
Yeah.
using clever filming techniques to disguise the fact that, hey, we're a B movie
Yeah.
and we're filming, in our backyard.
Yeah. Yeah. I would
So,
agree with that. I didn't really notice that like you did, but now that I think back, I didn't really pay attention to it, but I can kind of see what you're talking about. Yeah, the negatives, the bad
yeah.
parts. Uh
Okay.
yeah, I mean, like we talked about the disrespect toward women. Like
Mm-hmm.
I get like a couple jokes about hating your wife here and there because like boomers, ha ha ha, hate my
I
wife
didn't
sort of
think there were that
humor.
many jokes about it. There was like a lot of the stuff from Burl, but other than that, see, probably none of the rest of the characters had wives.
No, the uncle
Or
had so Burl's uncle also had the same issue
okay,
because he
yeah,
was
but
fighting with his
see,
wife as he was about to leave his
yeah,
house.
but that feels authentic. That felt like
Yeah.
for the generation that's coming from, that feels like something, I could actually see there being a guy who does that.
Okay,
Burl's
fine.
felt unnecessary. That felt like a realistic little 10-second slice of life where you've got like the old couple who's lived together forever and they're bickering. I've
Okay,
met people
that's
like that. I know people like that personally. That one didn't bug me because that one felt very authentic. It's still like you shouldn't do it.
sure.
Don't disrespect your wife. Okay. Let's get that right off the bat. We're both married. We both love our wives. Don't disrespect your wife. But in the context of that little 10-second scene, I thought it was very realistic, especially to like a couple people I know.
Okay, that's fair. But like
But
Burl's
yeah,
like
bro, yeah,
didn't
no,
make
there was
sense.
no reason for it.
And like just Chuck and Dale making comments here and there. I
Yeah,
think
there's
Burl makes some comments.
a lot
Like
of raunchy jokes.
it's just like
Doesn't need to be
okay.
there.
All right, whatever.
Um,
And then there's the one scene where Chuck gets uh 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 what's I can't think of words. Shaner, help me.
um, he takes home a woman and they almost have sex.
There
And
you
it
go.
gets
Yes.
right to the point where you're like, is this about to get graphic? And then they
It's already kind
reintroduce.
of graphic. It's like, I might
Yeah,
need to
but
turn this
let me
off.
rephrase that. Yeah, I was worried because usually I like to screen these movies and figure out, because a lot of these B movies, don't have a rating system hanging over them, so they can do whatever they want.
Right.
And you would not believe how many B movies I've had to be disappointed to say no to because the concept sounded hilarious. And then I went on, I was like, nope, not doing that. Anyways, so I got to that point because there was no reviews for this one like that.
Sure.
And I got to that point and it gets right up to the line. Like literally the second you're thinking, okay, that's enough. I'm turning this off. And I was going to be really bummed because that's what, like an hour and 15 minutes into the movie.
Something like that. Yeah.
I was like, come on, this was been so good up to this point. And right at that point, they do a joke about Bigfoot and it reintroduces the story and the whole thing's forgotten about.
Yeah.
You never see that character again. I'm like, good. It's still a little graphic, but the thing is, you can skip that scene and you lose nothing.
Yeah, there's no point to that scene. I don't know why.
It's what, like 5 minutes? You can skip 5 minutes and you don't lose any of the story. Yeah, so that is the only part of it. And then there's a part earlier, I think, in the bar where this character who's in love with the bartender is having some weird fantasy, but it's not that graphic.
No, it's Daryl and his darn, I keep mixing up the names. Dale
it's easy.
And his girlfriend.
No, they're not together at that point.
I thought they were.
No, it's not till the end of the movie. No, he has a crush on her, or whatever you want to call it. And it's just kind of like, it's not graphic, but it's still just like, didn't need to be in there.
It's meant to
you
be.
You got the point across.
It's meant to be a bit.
It's not that bad though, but it is worth mentioning. You can also skip that. You're not missing anything. What other negatives?
Do we want to point out the Pittsburgh bar? I don't know if we want to tackle that one.
The what?
The one where Burl, Chuck, and Dale go into Pittsburgh because they need to get a special weapon.
Okay, yeah.
Do we want to touch on that? I don't know if
real quick. I'm just going to talk about it real quick because it really threw me when I was watching it.
Yeah.
They go to get a special weapon to hunt Bigfoot. I won't tell you what it is because that part's really funny. I wasn't expecting what they got and I loved it. But they keep saying, yeah, we're going to go into Pittsburgh. We're going to go into Pittsburgh. And it shocks me that all the characters are like, why? Why would you ever go to Pittsburgh? You know, like you live right there. Anyways,
they weren't like that. Hold on. They weren't like, they were just like, why are you going? Why are you driving? It's more like, why are you driving to Pittsburgh? I don't think they despised it. They just like, why are you doing this?
So these three redneck guys, they're dressed up. You can't see my air quotes. They're wearing their best and they walk into a bar and it is a stereotypical scene of like, I don't know what the correct term to use here is.
A black guy standing in the back of a bar acting like a gang. That's
and they're all like wearing suits and they're drinking Hennessy and it's like, this didn't need to be here. It makes no sense. You could have gone to your friend Kurt out in the country who makes illegal weapons.
Yeah, it was.
I'm not saying.
Yeah. No. I'm going to jump in here to save you.
Yeah, save me.
It's not the fact that they drove in. Well, the fact that they drove into Pittsburgh was a little weird to get this sort of item. The fact that they were going to this specific place for the weapon seemed a little odd for what it was.
Yeah,
and I mean, and then there's like this whole like scene in the bar where they're like, I won't just describe it because I don't want to spoil it because it is a fun scene to watch, but just like I don't know, it felt weird having it in there.
Yeah,
it might be a little stereotypical. So just throwing it out there.
It really hit me when I first got. I'm like, okay, where are they going in Pittsburgh? And then you get there and you start seeing these characters and the way they're talking.
Yeah,
and I'm like, where did this come from? These don't mesh. I felt like it was two separate movies that were being jammed together.
Well, I think that was the kind of the point. Like they were trying to do like two different worlds colliding sort of thing, and the movie does really go heavily into stereotypes. And so I can understand why they did like, stereotyping that. It felt really like a clash and you could really tell that. And
now,
it's like,
that scene,
I feel kind of bad watching this, but at the same time, I don't think it's bad.
To give it credit, it did have a really funny plot twist with the guy who runs the bar.
It did. Yeah,
I won't spoil on the air because you need to watch it because it's really fun. That one got me to laugh once I got past what was actually happening. It's a good scene in
general. It's just weird because it kind of clashes and has a stereotype and you feel a little awkward watching it. But I digress.
Anyways, other than that, there's a couple of pointless storylines that didn't need to be in there, like little random things they mention and you feel like they're going to bring back up and you just didn't have to mention in the first place. And a couple of characters feel out of place, like the mayor. This isn't a spoiler. The mayor has like a hit squad, and they're all like German black ops operatives, and the main one's like this really big woman. It made no sense. And I say black ops like they're all wearing tack gear. They're like, black shirts and skull caps.
Yeah, they're more like hired work.
And you want to talk about his henchmen because they
I don't
also
think it's
stand
worth
out.
mentioning. Just watch the show. You'll see. I don't think
Yeah,
they least mentioning.
it just felt weird, but the characters are all good. The mayor is a really fun character. I liked him.
Yeah, he's good.
The sheriff felt like he could have done more. He was an okay character, but I felt like there could have been a little bit more with him.
It was okay. I like the character. I feel like he served his purpose.
But the standout are the main three characters.
Oh yeah,
just because they steal the show. And honestly, I think Dale, are we getting that right? I'm going to fall under you. Not the one that died.
Yeah. The other dude.
Yeah, he was, I think, the weakest of the three.
Really?
The other two I thought were just so fun. Even the introduction of, wow, why can I not get his name? Bearded guy.
Burl.
Burl. Burl's introduction as the exterminator. When I'm going to spoil this one scene on the air, and because you lose not a lot, he's an exterminator by trade, and he goes to this woman's house, and he's checking under her sink for chipmunks, and he hears a noise outside in this woman's house. So he goes, "Hold on, I'll be right back." And he walks outside and pulls out this huge revolver out of nowhere and starts walking around the neighborhood looking for something. And I'm like, that at least gives you something. I just felt like there wasn't a lot with Dale. He had that romance thing and it was fine, but when you
had the other, I don't want to say the other plot point because it comes up. I disagree. I think Dale's character was more for the more serious movie points. I think that was his point of the character, while Chuck was the main, like, I don't want to say goof.
Chuck was my favorite character just because all of his lines.
Oh yeah, Chuck was Pittsburgh Dad did a great job. Double thumbs up for him.
He knows how to do comedy, and he knows how to deliver a line in the right way.
I'd buy him a beer.
And all the guys felt like they meshed so well.
Yeah,
all their interactions were A+. So we heavily recommend this movie. Heavily
recommend. I mean, obviously, Skip. Well, yeah, it's not perfect, but heavily recommend, especially if you're in the Pittsburgh area.
I think it's one of the first B movies in a while, if not one of the first ones we've ever this strongly recommended.
I mean, the last, let's see, the ones we like rated last time, like Spaghetti Man, Velocipaster,
which, speaking of which,
Vampire Hunter.
If you're a fan of B movies, big news, Velocipaster 2 dropped a trailer.
Oh, I was gonna say something later, but Velocipaster 2.
Anyways, if you're running those circles, like, we're talking about this like it's a big thing. If you're a B movie fan and you love Velocipaster like I did, definitely check out the trailer for 2.
I wonder if we could reach out for an interview. That'd be sick.
That would be so fun.
I'll see what I can do. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah. Don't give away our secrets.
We should move on.
Yeah, we should.
Oh, before we move on to our rankings, there are 2 cutscenes at the end. Credit scenes. So just hold on for that. One's in like the beginning of the credits, the other one's at the very end. So just so you know.
Yep.
Rankings.
Okay. Wait, have we been ranking these?
Yeah.
We haven't been ranking these since we've ranking the Star Wars ones.
Well, we haven't ranked them because we've only done 2 episodes.
Oh, that's true.
So we've only had to rank 2. Now we have 3 movies. I'll give my list since you apparently did not do it.
Well, this will be easy. I forgot we've only done 3. I always forget that these are like 3 weeks apart now. Yeah,
no, that's fair. I mean, this one's pretty predictable. I mean, Sniper Corpse at the bottom, then it comes to Ninja Zombies and Black Ops, and at the top, Bigfoot the movie.
Yeah, easy. I'm gonna say this is tricky, not because of where Bigfoot goes. Bigfoot goes at the top, and I would even say, if you've listened to our old episodes, I rank it up there just underneath Velocipaster and Jesus Christ Vampire.
I would agree. Yeah, I think it definitely hits that level. Not like it doesn't top them, I think, but definitely
those 2 are my favorites, but this ranks number 3 on the whole list. But
this might be our best movie of the year, unfortunately.
But my problem is I don't know whether to rate well, I don't know what to do with the other two. I hated both of them, like Zombie Corpse or Sniper Corpse, and I'm gonna have to agree with you only because at least uh Ninja Zombies versus Black Ops gave me something to work with. Sniper Corpse was
Yeah.
so small of a film, there was not a lot to work with, and it had that horrendous voiceover that
Yep.
made no sense. So yeah, I'm gonna agree with your ranking. This was an easy one. Obviously, it's the best one.
Yeah. And then for our last mini segment, how would Jar Jar Binks make this movie better?
Okay, so this one's tricky. I have two different options of where to put Jar Jar. One, put him in the Bigfoot role because I not that I hate him and I don't want to see him be the villain, but I think it would be hilarious. You've got the suspense building and you see his face come out of the shadows and something like Lisa Hunt or something like that, and like grab it with his weird suction cup fingers.
Yeah.
That would be so funny. Two, you make him running the bar where they go to get the Bigfoot hunting weapon.
So wait, he's Dale's girlfriend or
No,
boyfriend?
sorry. The Pittsburgh bar.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
You make him the runner of the Pittsburgh bar, it would be funny because he would be so out of place. And you know what? That scene was just as out of place as Jar Jar is.
That's fair. All right. That's
So,
fair.
but mostly I would say put him in the Bigfoot role only to see him pop out of the shadows and like, murder people. Kind of
That's
funny.
fair. All right. So I would, and we kept this as like a spoiler. So like I'm not gonna reveal what they are, but I would want Jar Jar to be the two bodyguards of the mayor.
Oh, okay.
To replace, I think that would work. Again, I'm not gonna spoil what they are because I want you to experience realizing that. But I think two Jar Jar Binkses replacing those two would be great.
Yeah, that would make it better.
Yeah. Not that I didn't like those bodyguards.
Oh no, they were.
That's a contentious point, and you'll see why. But I think they were good. It was funny. It was
it was funny. So
oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, we probably at the same point. I'm gonna say go do yourself a favor. It's an hour and a half long without the ads.
Yes.
And watch it with the ads. It's not a big deal. You can get up and get popcorn in between.
Sure.
Some of the ads were a bit long because I watched it with ads.
It's worth every penny. $10.
Some of them were a bit long, but definitely give this a watch. Pull yourself, take out an evening, and you'll know when the scenes you want to skip if you're looking for something family friendly. It is completely obvious when they're coming, so it's not like it's going to suddenly throw it in your face. You have more than enough time to skip the scenes you don't want to see.
Yes.
So go watch this movie. You will not regret it. You'll laugh, and you'll be like, "Hey, I know guys like those."
Mm-hmm. Hey, my grandmother has that picture on the wall.
Yeah, exactly. You can be like, "Hey, I've probably been there." If you live in Elwood City or around it and you've been there, you'll probably see some stuff you know. I'm considering driving over one day and finding some filming locations.
I will pay your gas money to drive there and back. If
it's a 30-minute drive, I'll be okay.
Okay. I'm just saying, I'm trying to give you incentive to go.
Oh no, I don't think I need that much incentive. There's probably some cool stuff there anyways.
All right, cool. Well, everyone, thank you everyone for listening to Bops and B-movies. Again, check out all the stuff. We'll put the links in the description. Dark Bloom by We Came as Romans, the Mountain Goats, and something about a cricket.
Bug hunter.
Bug hunter, sorry. And then Bigfoot the movie. Go check them all out.
Yep.
Velocipaster 2 on the way. Yahoo. Let's go.
I'm ready for it. I'm a little concerned.
Yeah, I saw the trailer too, and I was like, okay.
But they kept the first one pretty PG-ish.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I'll give it a chance. I'm really hoping they don't let me down with this.
We're of course gonna watch it when it comes out.
Oh yeah.
We're of course gonna watch it, but
I'm gonna watch as much as I can unless it gets really graphic.
Yeah, the trailer didn't. Yeah, it got a little. It hinted at some risque stuff.
But I will wait to see.
All right. Anything else, Shanner?
No, I got nothing else. We made all our points and we made them good.
I think so. Not next week. In 2 weeks, we are doing our next Star Wars review, which is we did Empire Strikes Back.
Return of the Jedi.
Return of the Jedi, which has historically always been my favorite film. But
We
will
are
it stand up
rounding
to
out.
my new feelings of Empire Strikes Back? We'll see.
We are rounding out the George Lucas stuff.
Yeah.
After that, we move into some contentious territory, and I will be rocking the boat.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those combos. I'm looking forward.
Oh, it's going to be great. It's going to be great.
We should probably say Happy Thanksgiving to everyone, because this is
Happy
out
Thanksgiving
the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. So go eat some turkey. I'm probably going to be working. Yeah. Well, I guess both of us are
I'm
gonna
gonna
be working.
I'm gonna be eating turkey at work because the cafeteria at my work serves turkey.
Oh, that's
It's
nice.
not gonna be good, but I'm gonna eat it.
Better
It's
than
a hospital cafeteria serving Thanksgiving dinner. We'll see how they do.
All right, everyone. Boy.
See ya.